Greetings guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you were well and I hope that you were fighting because there's a lot to be fighting for. Today's trousers are... they're rainbows. They're rainbow. Someone asked me to wear the rainbow pants, so here I am wearing the rainbow pants. And by someone, I mean Kat. Kat told me to wear these ones. I am back with rainbow trousers, the face of makeup, and a tattoo that I think might be getting infected, which is really, really fun. I love that for me. When I was looking for video ideas, I went onto r/otherstraightsok. I start there a lot of the time because I'm like, I'll do a checkup on the straights, and then I get distracted because I'll find something and then I'm like, I need to look into this more. And then I like deep dive, and that is what happened today. There was a post in the Reddit that was by a Twitter account, and I was like, what else does this person on Twitter post? Because I need to see more of this. Oh my god, I have so much to say. So I went to their Twitter, and then I was going through their Twitter, which led me to another one, which led me to another one, and I ended up going down this just tunnel. And it made me so angry and upset and uncomfortable, and it gave me a headache, and I was there for like 4 hours, and then I wanted to ram my head into a wall and cry. So today, I want to give you that feeling too. You can suffer with me. That's what this channel is all about, right? Suffering together. So, before I get into it, I would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with hundreds of different courses covering hundreds of different topics. Basically, if you want to learn how to do something, you can probably find a course on Skillshare, which is really, really cool. It's really incredible. I love the amount of range that they have. You can do anything like creative, like writing or art, to things like managing finances and time management. If you're like me, you don't like doing things that you aren't good at. So if there's something that you want to try, but you aren't really sure where to start, Skillshare is a really good place to do that. I've talked to you a little bit about my watercolor course that I've done, which was a lot of fun. And at the moment, I am doing a drawing for self-discovery, 5 ways to start, with Marie Andrew, who is the teacher, which I think is really cool because I do really like drawing. I used to journal a lot and I found that really helpful for my mental health, but I like fell out of it and I stopped doing it. I stopped like enjoying it. I find it really hard to keep up with that sort of thing, and I decided that I really wanted to do it again, and I thought it would be really cool to do with like illustrations, but I never know where to start. My brain is a jumble, it's a mess. I don't have ideas. I don't know what to do. So this course I think is really cool because it helps to like guide you and let you know some ideas where to start, how that's going to help you progress with like your state of mind and your anxiety and your time management and like set goals and things like that, like gratitude logs and stuff. I find them personally really helpful, really cool, and I really enjoy doing this sort of stuff. Skillshare is a really incredible place to just like learn things, and you can ask questions and have them answered, and it's just really cool. You can learn at your own pace. You can go back a lesson, forward, you can pause. However works for you. We all learn differently, and I feel like Skillshare is a really good way that caters for pretty much everyone. So if you have something that you want to try or learn or pick up an old hobby, then go to the link in my description. The first 1,000 people to sign up using my link will get their first month free. So don't forget to do that because that's pretty cool. We love free things. And thank you Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into the nightmare, shall we? So, the Twitter, I forgot to say their name. I'm really good at doing that. The Twitter account is pure_dating_tips. And their name, the seducer lifestyle, which, you know, says enough, I think. Basically, it's a man tweeting like dating tips and like pickup artistry and the art of seduction, which this is the first thing I saw when I opened this Twitter. Being a little bitch who loves complaining and gets a sick emotional high from showing his vulnerable weak side is feminine energy. If you've learned anything from me, then let it be this. Women are absolutely viciously disgusted by displays of weakness in men. They have absolutely visceral repulsion to weak men. Remember that. Be a symbol of absolute strength. When she's having her temper tantrums and uncontrollable emotional swings, she will bask in your calm, graceful, calm demeanor. You are the unmoving mountain amidst level 5 typhoons. What did I just read? There is a lot to unpack here. I love when men decide what women are interested in and what women like. Women don't like when men are vulnerable. They're disgusted by it, repulsed by it. You can't do that. Women will hate you. How's your love life going, living the way that you do? Because I feel like it's probably not going very successfully. And I'm going to put that down to the fact that you don't understand women's emotions, or just emotions in general. You don't speak on behalf of anyone, especially not women. Why would you speak on behalf of women and what I like? I personally, as well as every other woman I know, like when men have emotions and are compassionate and listen and offer support and advice and meet me on an equal emotional level, because that's what compatibility is. I'm not really a big fan when men don't really seem to care about me being emotional, and I also think that men, have emotions, so they're also allowed to be emotional, and it causes a lot of issues, often like violence and anger and abuse, when men bottle up emotions and don't feel like they're able to express it. A lot of abuse towards women from men come from men who don't feel like they're allowed to experience and express emotions, so they channel it all into anger, which is an emotion, but it's a masculine emotion, and that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Strong man. Hit. No. Let people have emotions. Women are not repulsed by that at all. Be yourself, man. There is someone for everyone. Except maybe you, because you seem like a terrible person. And then I was led to, further down their page, I was led to this account called Simp to Slayer, Step-by-Step Seduction, which I'm pretty sure is run by the same person. They all have like each other's links in their bio, so I think this is the same person. And here's one of their tweets. Beta male is, I hope I am good enough for her. Alpha male is, she better be worth my time. What else she got going for her other than looks? Every woman has a cavity between her legs, but not every woman has an alternative form of substantial value. That's disgusting. What? Why are we objectifying women? Don't take us down to our vaginas, especially when you're referring to it as a cavity between our legs. That's so vile. That makes me feel disgusted. That's awful. What else has she got going for her other than looks? What are you doing? What do you have going for you other than being an asshole? Because I can't find one redeeming quality. So far I haven't been able to find a single redeeming quality. What makes your time more valuable than my time? Who's deciding that? Why are you deciding that? We all have limited time. You can sure decide if I'm worth talking to or not, but like making it out to be like sex is the reason we talk to women is a bit. Women say lots of random bullshit they don't really understand. Ignore 99% of it. We usually know what we're saying. We're usually aware of what we're talking about. I'm pretty aware of what I'm talking about most of the time. Sometimes I say a bunch of random bullshit, yeah, sure, but I typically say it for a reason, and I understand what I'm saying. Do you understand what you're saying? You go on later to say, this is from a different account, but again, I think the same person. This is from Speak Womanese, which is a thing. Don't hate the game, don't hate the player. Just accept them for what they are and play the game accordingly. Hating women unconsciously impacts your game by compromising your vibe. Women can sense inner resentment and will mirror it back. You're saying to not hate women, but for someone who says they don't hate women, you sure do hate women. Taking women down to their bodies and their looks and that being like what you base their worth off of, or you base their worth on other things but aren't specifically saying what it is. While not expressing your own worth, you just think that you're above women all the time and women owe you things. But like saying that 99% of what women say is bullshit and you shouldn't listen to anything they say sounds a lot like hating women to me, which is also bad. You can't hate women, but it's a rule to disrespect women and think that they're stupid and unworthy of your time and anything. There's a really good way to avoid women, and it's to just not talk to us. And then you don't have to deal with any of it. If you don't want to listen to us, then don't talk to us. Sorted. Yay, I fixed your problem. Don't let a beautiful woman use you as a friend. Why can't we have friends? Why aren't men allowed to have women friends? Why aren't we allowed friends? What is wrong with you? Don't let a woman use you as a friend. What if she just wants a friend? Are you not allowed to want a friend either? Is a beautiful woman only good for sex? Is that the only thing beautiful women are good for? Because that's vile. That's disgusting. We're allowed friends. Women are allowed friends. Men are allowed friends. We can be friends with whoever we want. No one's using anyone for anything. You can have a platonic relationship with someone. If you're saying you can't be friends with beautiful women, why can you be friends with beautiful men? Why is it any different? What's the difference? You can be friends with someone you're attracted to. They don't owe you anything. You don't have to get any, sexual gratification out of that. You can just be happy that you have a friend. That's just some food for thought. Maybe there is nothing inherently sexual or romantic about a friendship, and there doesn't have to be. Friendship is rewarding enough in and of itself. Attention from high status men is the currency that women value. No? No, it's not. No, it's not. I, quite frankly, do not care what any man has to say to me or about me. It doesn't matter your status. If you're a nice person, that's sort of what matters the most, but I still don't, your attention isn't what matters most to me. I quite frankly do not care about what attention I do or do not receive from men. I do care about the attention that I receive from men, actually, because there is some unwanted attention that happens sometimes, and I would rather that doesn't happen. I don't care if you're high status or low status or anything like that. Don't give people unwanted attention. Don't talk to people if they don't want you to talk to them. Don't pester them when they tell you to stop. Don't touch us, etc., etc. It doesn't matter where you view yourself in terms of worth and value or whatever. You are not worth more than me or my time. We are equals. So fuck off. This one's back on Speak Womanese 101. Don't get carried away thinking about a particular woman, because thinking too much about a woman leads to developing one-itis and strong feelings, which then leads to needy behavior. The more you think about her, the more emotionally invested in her you become. And what's the problem with being emotionally invested in someone? Why can't you want a relationship? Why can't you want to be with one person? You don't have to want that. But if thinking about someone makes you want to be in a monogamous relationship with them, what is the problem with that? Sure, sometimes you might get your heart broken, but there's not a problem with that. That's okay. That's part of life. You're allowed to develop an emotional connection with someone. You're allowed to have emotions. You're allowed to have a monogamous relationship. Those are all things that are completely valid and, to be honest, quite encouraged. You're allowed emotions. Please don't feel like you aren't allowed emotions. There's nothing wrong with being attached. Well, there's a problem with being too attached or having codependency issues. That is an issue. But it's not a problem to be emotionally connected to someone. That's just a healthy relationship. Men just want the end result. Women enjoy the process. While you're ready to fuck within minutes, a woman will want to be taken through an emotional rollercoaster ride that accumulates in sexual intimacy. Foreplay isn't just physical, but emotional, logistical, and verbal. Not necessarily. Again, stop speaking on behalf of everyone. Some women are keen to just meet up and hook up. Some men would like a long journey, and that's fine. It goes either way. And the whole point of a relationship isn't to have sex. That doesn't have to be an end goal. That could be a middle goal. That could be what you start with. That doesn't even have to be involved at all. That's not the end goal or the end result. You should want an emotional connection with people. You don't have to have an emotional connection with people to have sex, obviously. Not important. You don't need that if you don't want that. That's okay. But it is nice for a lot of people to develop an emotional connection with people, and that is not gender or sex based. That's just emotional based, and as discussed already, men have emotions. They're taught not to express them, but men have emotions and they should be able to express them and feel them and experience them. You're allowed to want to have sex, but making that the whole reason that you interact with women is dangerous and gross and manipulative. Don't fake an emotional connection with someone and fake having interest in someone just to have sex and then never talk to them, because that's a really shitty thing to do. If you want to just have casual hookups and one night stands, that's fine, but make sure that you both go into that knowing that that's what you want, right? Like, personally, I'm fine having one night stands if I am aware going into it that that is what it is going to be. Then it's fine. But if you go into something expecting something more long term, or something that you would like see each other again or develop an emotional connection with someone, and you think that that is what it is, then you're going to be upset if that isn't what it is. But if you go into it knowing exactly what's going to happen and what the other person wants, then you can come to an agreement and nobody gets hurt. Really not that difficult. It's not that hard to find women who just want to have casual sex. There's a lot of women who are down for casual sex. No matter how beautiful she is, the day will come when she will turn absolutely disgusting. Stop pedestalizing women in your mind. What? What do you mean? So you love someone and then one day she just becomes disgusting? Why? How? What happens? Just like snap overnight, you become completely unattracted to her and just decide you don't like her and she's disgusting? That's so fucking weird. That's so weird. What do you mean? How does that happen? That's quite impressive, honestly. Are you talking about like aging? That you have like an age cutoff as soon as someone reaches a certain like age, you're like, no, I need to find someone younger again. 'Cause that's gross. I'm assuming that's sort of what you mean. But like, you don't like snap overnight and just look differently. And also, if you have an emotional connection with someone, you typically aren't repulsed by them straight away. Like, you can have like shit happen that makes you unattracted to them and like upsets you and stuff. But that's not like being disgusted by them. You're allowed to like think highly of people. You clearly think very highly of yourself. So you're allowed to think highly of other people. That's not a problem. IQ is a ruthlessly good predictor of long-term life success. It is the single best predictor of income. That is the most bullshit statement I've ever heard in my entire life. Oh my god. No, that absolutely is not correct. There is a lot of people with very high IQs who are like born into poverty and situations that lack privilege and opportunity that will never be able to be successful because they lack the privilege and opportunity that a lot of other people do. There's a lot of people in good positions with a lot of money and success who are not the brightest. They're not the brightest. There are a fuckload of people who are much smarter than them who are working in the working class. There's a lot of very, very intelligent people in the working class or who are unhoused. IQ has nothing to do with success. They tell you it does. And sure, you can get far with a high IQ. You can probably get further. If you're like on the same exact level as a person with a lower IQ, the person with the higher IQ can probably do better, but you have to be in the same starting position, you know? Then yeah, sure. IQ is not a way to measure success. I'm sorry, it's just not. This next account, again, found through the same exact accounts, is called Chick Crack. Crack for chicks. Problematic for many reasons. If you like thick girls who wear yoga pants, join a yoga class. Tell them you want to get right with your spirit, or you heard it would balance your energies or something else like that. They'll eat it right up. Yes. Lie and manipulate women. Tell them you have something in common with them when really you just want to stare at their butts. That's moral. That's great. That'll do really well. Sure, okay, you might be able to hook up with women, but it's kind of gross, and it's sort of that thing of when you tell lies, you are making consent very, very blurry because they're consenting to something that they don't realize is untrue. You know what I mean? Giving consent to a lie is like kind of removing the consent because you are consenting to something else that it isn't, you know? Like, liking someone when they're lying about who they are is like they don't really like you, and finding out what you're lying about can make them feel really gross and upset, and that because you like lied to them, and that makes consent really blurry. Like technically they're consenting, but like emotionally they're not, you know? And so it's really gross and manipulative, and don't invade like women's spaces and lie and make them uncomfortable. You aren't the center of attention. You aren't the main character. Not everyone exists for your benefit and your pleasure. Stay in your lane and leave women alone. Don't manipulate women. Don't lie to women. Just like do things you actually like and find women with the same interests as you. And I'm sorry that your only interest is hating women and wanting to sleep with them. Maybe find a different hobby. Maybe actually find things to enjoy and find women there that you actually emotionally connect with. Those were all the posts today. Let me know if you want to see more tweets from any of these accounts or any of them in particular. Let me know anything else you want to see from me. You can send an email to the email address on screen, kiwi.woo@gmail.com. Just send me some video ideas. I like to go through them and do some things that you've emailed me, so feel free to do that. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Fruit and Kiwi Bad channel members whose names are up on the screen right now. I love and appreciate you very, very much. Thank you so much for joining. You'll notice I haven't been saying to become a channel member at the end. It's because I am working on starting up a Patreon with different benefits and more of them, which will hopefully be up and running very shortly. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to subscribe to my second channel, Kiwi. I make a lot more fun content, different content. I've been doing my Jubilee series over there. I just do a bunch of random shit. If you want to just see me like having fun, but also being entertaining, go subscribe there. And also follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.